It's been more than a week since the start of the 2020 playoffs, plenty to get into, many series going as expected, some teams looking sharper than others, the next few rounds should be more and more competitive, certain stars dominating which shouldn't be surprising, but some of the biggest shockers and travesties resulted in awful play and players bricking shots. How's it going, guys? My name's Wilson. Here are the biggest surprises and disappointments so far. Surprise, surprise, Utah Jazz playing terrific basketball, dominating Denver up 2-1. Realistically, if it wasn't for the 8-second violation in Game 1, they should be up 3-0. Being shorthanded without Bogdanovic, going from not beating Denver this regular season to blowing them out in back-to-back games, Royce O'Neal stepped up defensively, containing Jamal Murray in Games 2 and 3 after shooting 13 of 20 in the opener, 11 for 29 since. Unacceptable. The Nuggets playing with no energy while Gobert has rebounded after being torched by Joker in Game 1, got the best of Jokic in a 124-87 blowout Game 3. Denver without Gary Harris and Will Barton certainly hurt. The emergence of Mike Conley's 27 points after the birth of his child, a game he will always remember. Denver's inability to force turnovers, a nightmare. If Donovan Mitchell continues to play like the best player in the series, Utah's gonna win this one. Paul Millsap, the biggest absolute travesty for the Nuggets, 8 points, 5 points, and 8 points, no impact whatsoever, let alone making $30 million on the season. Michael Porter just didn't play enough this regular season, although he's promising, needs to be more comfortable in the Nuggets rotation. After Game 1, it appears that Jokic would eat Gobert alive, but it's been the other way around since. Denver trailing by 30 plus points in consecutive games with a team missing their second best offensive player, Quinn Snyder's heavily dominating Mike Malone. Clippers defensive wounds plus playoff P becoming playoff PP. Even worse, trending on Twitter, pandemic P. Despite LAC up 2-1, Kawhi Leonard carrying his team all season, all series, but the team itself giving up 110 points, 127 and 122, not a recipe for championship basketball. The absence of Pat Beverly in Games 2 and 3 shown, Reggie Jackson a mess on D, unwatchable at times. This team hasn't been fully healthy together much this season. Playoff P has been an absolute travesty in back-to-back games, melting down, totally lacks confidence on his shot. Marcus Morris and Lou Williams has been better the first 3 games of the series. If the Clippers want to win a championship, George needs to play better. For a guy who hasn't gotten out of the first round since 2014, he should be thankful playing with a superstar in Kawhi Leonard. Last 2 games combined, 25 points, 7 of 33 shooting, 3 of 18 from 3, many of them open looks, just keeps missing and missing. When no whistles call, continues to bark at the ref while not getting back on defense. Terrible qualities. George simply gotta stop looking at social media and just focus on having a decent game. Saying he's no James Harden, of course he's not James Harden. James Harden's a way better basketball player. They're not even on the same level. Yes, George is a good two-way player, but make a damn shot. He's lucky despite being in a slump. His team will still beat the Mavericks in the series. Clippers scoring 130 total points. George just 11 of those. Against one of the worst defensive teams, struggling to finish around the basket cannot happen. Thankfully, the Clippers are still in good position to win a title, but he's gotta turn it up a notch in the later series. For Dallas, Maxime Kleber has been the biggest travesty. Averages 4 points in 34 minutes played, under 27% shooting, a nightmare, continues to get absolutely destroyed, abused, annihilated, and humiliated by Kawhi Leonard. He's gotta stop guarding him, cause it's not working. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist should get more minutes instead. The Tobias Harris Al Horford disaster for the Philadelphia 76ers, an absolute mess. The team on verge of getting swept, getting little to no production from 2 of their max players, 2 of the most overpaid players in the NBA, $289 million combined for 17 points total in Game 2, not to mention both Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum still on their rookie contracts. Brett Brown, the worst coach in the bubble, needs to get fired after the series immediately. Failed to make most of his assets work. Brad Stevens proved why he's the way better coach 2 seasons ago when the teams met, proving why he's the way better coach now and will forever be the way better coach. The process cannot be trusted because it's taking 2 steps backwards. Past his prime, Horford gets beat by his former team time and time again, especially by Brown on the backdoor cuts. Even with Tatum struggling in Game 3, Harris 0 of 10 from 3 for this series. Through the first 3 games, 33% shooting. The Sixers would have been better letting him walk for nothing in free agency than giving him that fat contract. There's a reason why the Clippers got rid of him in 2019. The team's weak without Ben Simmons. Harris shockingly leading the Sixers in assists, a recipe for disaster. There's a reason why non-all-star players should never get max contracts. Don't these GMs ever learn? Horford meanwhile 6 points, 4 points, 6 points the first 3 games, both untradeable. Nobody wants them. For someone like Harris who hasn't scored more than 20 points his last 8 playoff games before receiving that contract, why the heck does the Sixers have to give him $180 million? 180, 100 million too much. Changes need to be made. Boston just playing their game will likely sweep the Sixers. The brilliance of Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat. After the tensions between Jimmy and TJ Warren, Butler and his team 4-0 against the Pacers since. Miami simply the better team, better execution down the stretch, a better bench, more weapons. The Heat on verge of sweeping the Pacers. Many thought this series would be one of the most competitive and go deep, but Miami in control every game. Butler proving why he's the best player in the series. 28 points in Game 1 including a late dagger. Duncan Robinson, many believe the best catch and shoot guy in the league. Lethal from every angle behind the arc. 24 big points on 7 of 8 from 3 in Game 2. A master stroke, give his team a boost with 15 big points in Game 3. Pat Riley proving why he's one of the best in the biz. Bam Adebayo outplaying and out-hustling Miles Turner. The crafty play of Goran Dragic looked like his former self. This is a team nobody believed would be contenders, but they truly believe they have what it takes to compete for a title. The Dragon 24 points, 20 points, 24 points the first 3 games. Incredible at age 34, the best point guard this series thus far. Right now, this team's having the most fun alongside the Raptors. TJ Warren back to his former self before the quarantine against the Heat, not bringing his A game, cooled off. 4 games against Jimmy and Miami, 17.7 points on 53% shooting. Not bad, but not the results the team needs for him. The 5 games against other teams, 35 points on over 60%. His field goal attempts also down from 23 to just 16. Not gonna get it done with the Heat's stellar defense. How about the excellent play of the soon-to-be 34-year-old Jeff Green, who continues to bounce from team to team on vet minimum contracts, but proven to be better than expected. Despite a tough Game 3 loss to OKC, Green scored 22 points on 8 of 12 shooting first game, a 15-point Game 2, followed by 22 the third on 8 of 13 shooting, 61% the first 3 games so far, over 30 minutes each game. If Houston finishes OKC, Green's production will be much needed in the semis, the X factor. Bucks and Lakers up 2-1 after Game 1 losses. LeBron, AD, and Giannis excellent Game 3 performances. These were my takeaways from the first week of the 2020 NBA playoffs. Thank you so much for watching this video. More good stuff coming soon. I love all of you. See you next time.